Hello, Let's Do Video viewers, and welcome back. I'm here again with Aalap Patel. Aalap, we've had some new viewers join the channel recently. Can you please reintroduce yourself for our new people?
Yeah, sure, David. I'm Aalap Patel. I'm the Director of Product at AVer for our Pro AV and K through 12 markets.
Now, I'm excited for this discussion. I always love having friends from AVer on to talk about the cameras, the new technology, but I really love talking about the customers. I really love talking about what people are actually doing with video, with the cameras and with video in general. And today we're going to talk about government. And maybe you could help me out here, because even before the pandemic, there were three types of customers that were really interesting. I mean, now everyone's using video, but even before the pandemic, there were three types of customers that were really interesting to me, and that was education, healthcare, and government. Now, education, obviously interesting because of virtual learning. Healthcare, obviously interesting because of telemedicine. Can you tell me, why is government so interesting to us in the video world?
Yeah, I think that's a great question because what we have seen it is with the pandemic, everyone is trying to update their technology to provide that inclusive environment where everyone is connected to each other, even if not in person, they are connected via video. And when we talk about government, it's not just a single entity, right? We're talking about federal government, state government, local government, like municipalities. So it's not just covering one entity, but covering the entire ecosystem, I would say, from a government perspective. And each one have their own regulations and level of requirements that's needed for the video products, and not just video product, any technology product, and the scale that they do it. So I think it's a really good market opportunity for us to be in that space to provide that inclusivity by using our video products.
Yeah, that is the difference when you're an exec at a big fancy company like Let's Do Video up in our penthouse suite. We can make our own rules. I can use whatever cameras I want. I can just say, or my IT person, as long as the big boss here approves, can get whatever they want. But at government, first they figure out what they want, then they got to look at these regulations and checklists and everything to make sure that it's okay. They have requirements, and for cameras, it's very particular requirements. Should we get into that to this now?
Yeah, sure.
So what are they? I've heard things like TAA and NDAA, lots of AAs. So help me out here to understand all those.
Yeah, absolutely. So the U.S. federal government actually requires, like any communication equipment, to have specific compliances. And the reason for that was that we have some security breaches recently from the foreign actors, right? So the TA and NDA compliance kind of make sure that the products are complying with the government's requirement, and the government buyers have specific standards that they can rely on when they're purchasing the product from manufacturers like AVer and others. TAA, for example, it's a Trade Agreements Act. It's basically intended to foster like a fair and open international trade. It basically kind of enforces that the government and affiliates are buying the product from companies that's approved by the U.S. government. Same way, NDAA stands for the National Defense Authorization Act, which was kind of established in 2019 by the federal government. It kind of specifies the budget and expenditures and the policy for the U.S. Department of Defense, and how it kind of transforms the third part or the manufacturers from designing the equipment in certain countries, for example, like China.
Okay, so it seems like the government has like two initiatives they're trying to push here. One is obviously security. Government cameras, they're especially for certain government cameras, they're going to have more security requirements than other cameras, because a camera our camera's got little computers in them. They could be hacked. I read an article about a company getting hacked through the thermometer, a digital thermometer in their fish tank. So obviously government's going to want to make sure that the cameras meet security, but also Buy American. It looks like it's a Buy American kind of thing they have going here, or at least Buy Allied. So between those two things, AVer has always been there.
Yeah, and we've been kind of pretty big into that. We want to make sure that we are providing the products that kind of meets the security standards, not just for the enterprises, but for the higher education as well as the government use cases as well.
Yeah. And I think it's worth taking a look at some specific government uses. I made a little list here because I think the rest of the industry can look to government as we've also looked to healthcare and EDU, since these three industries have been leading and been early in adoption of video. Look and see what they're doing with video for everyone else. And also another thing is, if you're a company and you know your boss is a little paranoid about hacking and whatever, even if you don't need all those government security, I mean, it's good enough for the government, it's going to be good enough for your boss. But obviously government is using video the way everyone's using video for their meetings, for their collaboration, for their teamwork, but also things, I'm scrolling through my list here, town halls, debates. Post-pandemic, we kind of expect to see everything on video. We expect accessibility. Used to be, if I want to be an active citizen, I have to know when the town hall is and drive down there and park and go. I'm not going to be so engaged, but people expect it to be on video and stuff like educational content. You know, we get stuff from the government. You get mailings and stuff. Video is so much more effective. Public service announcements. I mean, it just seems so obvious now that I'm looking at the list. I'm like, oh yeah, crisis communications. We're having. I don't even want to talk about it, but bad things are happening, and the government is having to respond, you know, with weather and nature and whatnot. And obviously, we expect those things. We're promoting new programs. This is a good list. That James on your team sent me this. This is a great list. But
and I think if I can add one more thing, sorry. I think what we are seeing it is that the applications are not being different from higher education or the enterprises, but the adoption has been significantly increased in the last 2 years, specifically in 3 segments, right? Public engagement. When I say public engagement, like some of the things you mentioned, right? Like town hall meetings, public hearings, like administrative hearing, like in municipalities, and of course, crisis communication, right? You don't need to be people in the calling them or sending them messages via email and text. You can just have a live stream from one of our cameras and then feed that into whatever channel you have. If you have a website, if you have a YouTube channel, Facebook channel, whatever that communication method is, you can tie that video signal directly into that broadcast channel. Same way, I just looked up the fact a few days ago, there are more than 20,000 courtrooms in the USA. When the pandemic hit, a lot of those courtrooms transformed into kind of a remote judicial proceedings. They were doing everything in person, and then they transformed everything into kind of a video collaboration, right? Judge was talking to a defendant or prosecutor remotely. So I think that has significantly kind of escalated the adoption of video, not just audio but video as well, into a lot of government sectors. And again, last but not least, I think there is always training rooms and conference rooms in this kind of premises. So adoption of having the right product with right security and right compliances is super important in those use cases.
And all those things you're saying, I think, you know, before the pandemic, I would think, oh, it'd be nice if my local government had that or my state government had that. You know, if I lived, there was a movie back in the 80s, Beverly Hills Cop, and the theme was a policeman from Detroit, which was an under-budgeted police station, went to the Beverly Hills police station, and he was amazed they had computers and whiteboards and all this fancy equipment. And I think that's how we used to think of video, you know, video town halls and video courts. Not anymore. You know, this is stuff. It's been around for a few years, and we kind of expect it. And if your municipality doesn't have it, if you're the IT person for your local government, I think people are going to be knocking on your door saying, "Hey, when are you gonna? Why don't we have this yet? And are you out there buying the cameras?" So I think that leads to my last question: is so if those people watching have said, we need to video our town halls. We need to get this going. Why should they look to AVer to meet their needs?
Great question. So as everyone is aware, we have the lineup of Pro AV cameras, which are enterprise grade with TA and NDAA compliance. So they're ready for government, right? So if you have a government contractors or resellers, they can go ahead and use those cameras for bids. They meet the standards that's predefined by the government, so that you don't have to worry about that. And again, I'm gonna go back to our theme that we've been talking about it, or our slogan that we've been keep saying it again and again. We have camera for every room, right? So every government room that you can find, we have camera for those applications, whether it's a conference room, training rooms, auditoriums, courtrooms, command and mission critical control centers. We have those products. And what makes our product best is our audio fencing technology, our AI auto tracking. And now with all that, we also have a voice tracking multi-camera switching solution in the form of software as well as a hardware, right? So again, any video conferencing or video streaming needs, we got you covered. And on top of that, we do offer great warranty, right? So most of our cameras will be supporting the top-notch warranty, and we do provide first year, same day, next day replacement for the products. And we have on-site US customer technical services team. So if you have any challenges, any technical questions, any need with the installation, we have team available on in the US time zones, ready to help. So that's what makes AVer camera differentiate from others.
Yeah, I think the camera for every room is big. I don't think people get how much ease of mind or how much easier it'll make the purchasing process. And I'll try to, maybe in post editing, I'll put up a clip now. But when I was at your booth at Infocom, you had this wall of cameras showing you had cameras for every use. You know, cameras with wide angles for people sitting close, and with really, really far zooms for really big rooms, and with auto tracking when that is needed, and you know, different form factors. They look different, they act different. And if I go to that wall and I say, okay, so which ones are the ones that are TAA and NDAA ready? It's all of them. It's your whole line. So I don't have to. I think the way we're used to doing things is say, okay, you know, I have different cameras for different rooms. I'm going to have to go to one company to get the camera that does this, and do to one company to get the ones that are meet government security, and go to one company. But as you'll see when I put up the wall of cameras, if you got a camera for every, I like one-stop shopping. I think that's.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks so much for being here. Anything else before we wrap up? Anything that anyone watching might want to know about AVer and government that I forgot to ask?
No, I think we covered most of the thing. But if you have any questions, or if you like to know more about the products, please feel free to visit us at averusa.com. And if you have any questions, there is a contact us on our website. Please feel free to reach out, and I will be happy to clarify any questions or concerns you may have.
Great. Thanks so much for being here. You make this so much fun, and so much fun and so easy. It's always great to have you. And
thank you for having me.
Thanks. And thanks everyone for watching. Have a great day.